There is a very strange possibility hiding inside physics. Not ghosts, not fortune cookies, not a mysterious person online selling destiny as a PDF. Something weirder. What if the future is not being created moment by moment? What if it is already there, and you are just moving toward the page where you finally notice it? That sounds like it should come with fog and suspicious music. But some real ideas in physics make time look less like a river and more like a map. And if time is a map, then the future might not be a blank page. It might be a place. Most of us feel time as a river. Yesterday is gone. Today is happening. Tomorrow is not here yet. That feels obvious because life is basically a dramatic calendar app with snacks. You wake up, things happen, you forget why you walked into a room, and somehow it is Thursday. So of course time feels like it flows. But physics keeps ruining the simple version. Einstein's relativity says time is not the same for everyone. Time can stretch, slow down, and depend on motion and gravity. Two people can disagree about how much time passed, and both can be right. GPS satellites have to account for relativity, or your map app starts lying to you, which is rude but scientifically interesting. Imagine two friends. One stays on Earth. The other gets into a very fast spaceship, has a weirdly calm space snack, and comes back. The traveling friend can come back actually younger than the friend who stayed home. Their clocks ran differently. This is called time dilation. Once time can stretch, one universal now gets shaky. Your now and someone else's now are not always the same slice of the universe. At ordinary speeds, the difference is tiny. You do not notice it while waiting for coffee. The universe is not using one giant shared clock on the wall. Already, time is acting suspicious. Here is where the idea gets truly strange. In relativity, space and time are often treated together as spacetime, more like one connected thing. You have an address in space and an address in time. Breakfast this morning, your 7th birthday, and some future Tuesday are different events. From this view, the universe can be imagined as a four-dimensional block. Every event is somewhere in the block. The past is in one part. The future is in another. This is the block universe idea. Yes, it sounds like the universe was designed by someone who enjoys filing cabinets. The block universe does not mean you can jump to next Friday and check your messages. Sadly, it means the whole history of the universe can look like a completed movie reel. You experience one frame at a time, but the reel itself has more frames than the one you are looking at. The character in frame 12 does not see frame 13 yet, but frame 13 is still part of the movie. That is the spooky idea. Maybe the future is not appearing from nothing. Maybe you are moving through a space-time story already there. At this point, your brain may ask to leave the room. Fair. But wait, if the future already exists, does that mean everything is fate? Are you just an anxious passenger in a cosmic train? Maybe, maybe not. This is where people often run too fast. The block universe is one way to think about time, but it does not automatically solve free will. It also does not mean someone wrote your lunch choices in a secret book. Physics can describe events without giving you a magical spoiler page. Think of it like a road seen from above. From inside the car, you choose, react, panic slightly, and miss an exit. From high above, the road is a shape. The map existing does not make the driving feel fake. It just means the outside picture is different from the inside picture. So why do we feel a flowing present at all? Because brains are not physics textbooks. Thankfully, your brain builds now from memory, attention, prediction, and sensory input. It keeps a little rolling window of experience. Too much past, and you cannot react. Too much future, and you become the person explaining all possible outcomes of ordering soup. So your mind gives you a clean little stage. This is now. The past goes backstage as memory. The future waits as imagination. That stage is useful. But useful does not always mean fundamental. The feeling of time flowing may be partly a user interface. And honestly, it is a pretty good one. Most days. This is also why deja vu feels so suspicious. You walk into a room, hear a sentence, and suddenly your brain says, "We have been here before." For 1 second, it feels like time has looped, or like your future sent a badly labeled postcard. The boring explanation is usually memory processing. Your brain may tag a new situation as familiar, or process signals with a tiny timing mismatch. But emotionally, deja vu feels like a leak. It feels as if the movie reel slipped and showed the wrong frame. That is why people connect it to fate, parallel timelines, or premonitions. Not because we have proof, because the feeling is genuinely weird. Premonitions are trickier. Sometimes you get a bad feeling and later something happens. That can feel like the future whispered. But humans are pattern machines with excellent confidence and terrible bookkeeping. We forget all the bad feelings that led to nothing and remember the one that matched. We also predict more than we realize. Your brain notices tiny changes in voice, timing, behavior, or environment, then turns them into a gut feeling. That is not supernatural. It is still impressive. Your brain is basically a prediction engine wearing shoes. So premonition-like feelings may not be messages from the future. They may be your present noticing clues before your conscious mind catches up. Still, when the guess is right, it feels illegal. There is another reason time seems to move in one direction. Entropy. That word sounds like a laboratory villain, but the idea is simple. Ordered things tend to get messier. An egg breaks. It does not unbreak. Coffee mixes with milk. It does not separate back into perfect layers because you changed your mind. This gives us time's arrow. We remember the past because the past leaves records. Cracks, crumbs, photos, scars, messages, receipts you are not ready to see. The future does not leave the same kind of records for us. So even if space-time is imagined as a block, our experience inside it still has a direction. We travel from lower entropy memories toward higher entropy mess. Now, could the future be changed? That depends on what you mean by changed. From your point of view, choices are real. You compare options. You decide. You act. That process is part of the universe. If the block universe picture is right, your choosing is not outside the block. Your decision is one of the events. So the question may be, what future includes the version of me making this choice? That is less comforting, but much more interesting. It turns free will from a magic remote control into something happening inside reality. That is a lot to think about while answering an email. This is where science fiction gets excited. If the future exists, could a time traveler visit it? Physics allows some weird time ideas on paper. Traveling into the future is possible in principle if you move fast enough or sit near strong gravity. You are doing a boring version right now at 1 second per second, the least impressive time machine possible. Going backward is the real trouble. Backward time travel creates paradoxes. What if you change the thing that made you travel in the first place? What if you stop your past self from doing something important? What if both versions of you are annoying? Physics has ideas, but no practical machine. For now. Forward, yes. Backward, extremely suspicious. Black holes make the time story even stranger. Near strong gravity, time runs differently. If you hovered near a black hole and somehow survived, your time and distant time would disagree dramatically. To someone far away, your clock could seem to crawl. To you, your own time feels normal. That is one of the most unsettling parts. Time does not always feel weird from the inside. It can bend, stretch, disagree with other clocks, and you still feel like you are having a normal bad day. Reality is polite like that. It hides impossible stuff inside ordinary experience. So what should we do with the idea that the future already exists? First, do not quit your job because a block universe might contain your retirement. The universe has not given you a spoiler button. Second, do not treat every gut feeling as prophecy. Sometimes it is intuition. Sometimes it is anxiety wearing a hat. But also, do not make time too boring. Modern physics has shown that time is not just simple background ticking. It stretches. It bends. It mixes with space. Maybe the present is not the only real part. Maybe past, present, and future are part of a bigger structure, while we experience one glowing slice at a time. That is the creepy, beautiful version. You may not be watching the universe create every frame from scratch. You may be moving through a story bigger than your current moment can see. Maybe that is why time feels so personal, because your now is the tiny flashlight beam you get. Everything outside it becomes memory, prediction, hope, fear, regret, and occasionally a suspicious feeling that you have seen this before. The future might be open. The future might be fixed. Or those words might be too small for whatever time really is. Either way, the next second is coming, or already there, which is rude because I was not ready. If the future already exists, would you want to know what happens next?